WWE SmackDown Vs RAW 2011 is the last game of the SmackDown Vs RAW series, Teardrop. But the reason it's the last SmackDown Vs RAW game is not because it was a bad game. It is, quite frankly, in my opinion, one of the most underrated WWE games of all time. The series continued under the name WWE. Add numbers depending on the year, creative. This game is special to me because it's one of these WWE games that I still wanna go back and play. And it seems like I'm not the only one who appreciates this game, because when I asked which WWE game I should review next, most of you wanted SmackDown vs RAW 2011. By far. So in today's Wrestling Game Time episode, we are going to talk about WWE SmackDown vs RAW 2011. I honestly understand why it was the last SmackDown vs RAW game. Times changed in the WWE. After the game's release, WWE slowly ended the brand split with the Raw Super Mega Showdown Extravaganza, while having SmackDown Superstars on Raw and the other way around. The brand split was still a thing, but not nearly as much as it was before, so that's probably why they changed the name of the series. And on top of that, WWE 12 looks nothing like SmackDown vs RAW 2011. So it wasn't just a name change, they completely reinvented the series. Was it for the better? I'll let you answer that yourself. It wasn't. In case you were asking, it was not. So let's begin this with a little bit of nostalgia. Luke Gallows, Lance Archer, Shad, and Drew McIntyre theme songs. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. The menu played these theme songs all the fucking time. It's boss time. Fuck that shit. It's time for Luke Gallows theme song on repeat, motherfucker. The game was released for many consoles, the main ones being Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Then there was a PS2 and Wii versions. That was something. And then there's PSP. We're not gonna talk about those. There is a reason why it was the last WWE game for these consoles. It was also the last game to have multiple covers. The American version had John Cena, The Miz, and Big Show, and the European version had Randy Orton, Sheamus, and The Undertaker. Jesus, sorry. I really loved the roster selection screen at that time because it had that Mortal Kombat feel to it. And speaking of the roster, it wasn't really that big now when I think about it. Yeah, you had a few legends and you had most of the current WWE stars. But the game was released during a huge transitional time in the WWE. I mean, during that time we got a bunch of new stars like Daniel Bryan, Alberto Del Rio, Alex Riley, and the whole Nexus group. But unfortunately, none of these people were in the game. CM Punk realized he's not the second coming of Jesus, but we had to deal with this. Thankfully though, DLC of this game was pretty neat. We got Wade Barrett, Justin Gabriel, David Otunga, CM Punk with a mask when nobody needed it anymore, and yeah, Lex Luger. One of the most impressive things about this game was the graphics. It may be an unpopular opinion, but it looks absolutely stunning even to this day. And there are some details that to me look better than what we have on the next gen right now, like the overall lighting of the crowd. And while it obviously doesn't look more realistic, I wouldn't say that it looked that much worse. The graphics of this game are very, very beautiful. And don't forget that it's still for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. What happened? Seriously, what the fuck? The only negative I have is that the titles look pretty crappy. What is this? That thing couldn't keep my pants on. Little John Cena fan in the crowd has a better looking championship. The gameplay was pretty alright during that time, although I gotta say looking back it was pretty slow. Gameplay is not that different from any other SmackDown vs RAW game except... yeah. This was pretty huge back in the day. The fact that you could do any move and the table will break instead of moving and not reacting to the bodies? Dude, it was surreal. TLC matches were amazing in this game, and if you would play this game right now, you would notice that it's even better than in WWE 2K19. It's so watered down in the new games. Road to WrestleMania was on a whole different level in this game. It had that GTA shit. And you know I love that GTA shit, my man. If I can play WWE with that GTA shit, I will play WWE with that GTA shit. It was something I've always dreamed about. What if I could free roam in WWE games like I do in GTA? That would be cool. Well, we got this in WWE SmackDown vs RAW 2011, although I gotta be honest, it got old pretty quickly, because once you get that there's nothing interesting left, you just want to jump straight into the story. Which is something that we should talk about as well. We had 5 different stories. You had a Chris Jericho story where you get to be a bad guy and your main enemy is Triple H. This story didn't really had any crazy twists and turns. I would say it was rather pretty realistic, and it's not necessarily bad, but I just don't have anything crazy to tell you. You get to win the United States Championship, receive a pedigree on a car, you win a toy WWE title, Big Show celebrates with you, and then he beats the crap out of you. Rey Mysterio's road to WrestleMania is the complete opposite. You get into a car accident and lose your memory. Great start. The story focuses on Jack Swagger trying to manipulate you and Evan Bourne trying to remind you that Jack Swagger is a bad guy. He's basically that dude from Back to the Future. What I like about this story is that you can make a decision. You can stay friends with Jack Swagger and be a bad guy, or you can choose to believe Evan Bourne. John Cena's road to WrestleMania was probably the most boring out of those. Randy Orton had too much fun playing Stephanie McMahon. If Cena wins at WrestleMania, Orton is fired, and Cena is the new WWE champion. It was also a triple threat match. Who's the third man, you may ask? Well, MVP. Yeah. Great choice. Christian's road to WrestleMania was my favorite. You lose your ECW title and get drafted to SmackDown. Hi Teddy Long, is it a 6-man tag team match or a 10-man tag team match? Fuck outta here, it's one-on-one with The Undertaker. Anyway, in this story you get to reunite with Edge. You're a Mr. Money in the Bank and you get to choose who do you want to face. WWE Champion Shawn Michaels or your friend, World Heavyweight Champion Edge. So there are basically 2 endings to this story as well. The last story is basically you trying to beat The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. You can choose out of few WWE superstars or create your own one. This story is wacky but also really fun. And even if you don't win at WrestleMania, you will just get a different cutscene. So if you respect this streak way too much, let it continue.
I say no to that too. I say 2 to that. The cows need me, Paul. I go to WrestleMania, I beat the streak, and I go feed my cows.
The game didn't really focus on creations that year because you didn't really get anything new. You had to create a finisher feature where you can basically create your weird looking move. WWE highlight reel where you can save a clip from your match and make a cool edit. You also obviously had create a superstar, moveset, and entrance. However, create a story was still a thing after it was introduced in SmackDown vs RAW 2010, and it was one of the most useful modes of the game. Whether you want to make a YouTube video or just download one of these stories that other people make, it made you play this game for a little bit longer than WWE games you play nowadays. It allowed you to be creative. The mode was removed in WWE 2K15. One of my favorite things about the game was the fact that we got this new mode called WWE Universe. Yes, right now the mode is boring and it doesn't offer anything new. While the creation freedom is amazing, the actual gameplay of the mode is boring. There's no reason to play. You make your own rivalries and watch the same cutscenes over and over again. Every rivalry starts with the same freaking cutscene. This mode needs a complete overhaul. Combine it with GM mode or something like that. I don't know, dude. I wish I could just delete this cutscene from the game. Seriously. Universe mode in SmackDown vs RAW 2011 didn't offer any creative freedom. You can't change arenas, shows, nothing. You can just switch on which brand superstar is on, and yet it's still probably my favorite universe mode out of any WWE game. Random shit happened all the time, and that's what made it interesting and fun to play. I remember playing it like a career mode. I would pick one superstar and play all the matches. When I was playing as Randy Orton, I was the WWE champion, world champion, life was easy. When I played as Christian, I wanted to build him to that main event status and get the world title match opportunity. I was stuck in the mid-card. It took me about 2 or 3 WrestleManias to get this man an opportunity, but it was worth it. I felt like I've actually achieved something. Don't get me wrong, it's way better in WWE 2K19, but the mode stayed the same for so many years that it doesn't have anything to offer anymore. I love this game. There are a few WWE games that I could go back and enjoy. The obvious examples would be SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, SmackDown vs RAW 2007, SmackDown vs RAW 2008, but I feel like SmackDown vs RAW 2011 doesn't get enough love. It's really underrated. This game stands out from every other WWE game. I've said it before, but that's the problem with the new WWE games. While I don't have a lot of problem with WWE 2K19, I really don't feel the need to go back and play WWE 2K18, 17, 16, or even 15, because these games are just worse versions of WWE 2K19. Even the game modes are not fun enough to go back and play. And that's the complete opposite with the older games. Because when I'll play these WWE games, I'll get a completely different experience. Both games have something different to offer. I remember when I got bored of WWE 12 or WWE 13, I would go back and play SmackDown vs RAW 2011. Because it's a different game. It's a good game. To sum up this video, this game was the shit. Thank you for watching this video. I guess we can all agree that SmackDown vs RAW 2011 was absolutely amazing. And I know that a lot of people will say that it's just nostalgia and the game wasn't even that good. I don't necessarily agree. You see people, I played every WWE game out there. I never felt the need to go back and play SmackDown vs RAW 2009, for example. Let me know which WWE game I should talk about in the next episode. Thank you for watching. As always, the great one. Peace, love, and hugs. SmackDown vs RAW 2011 rides into the sunset while Luke Gallows' theme song plays.